In any financial planning topic, I always center on two topics. Number one is how much do you actually need? And number two, of course, how much can you afford? I'm not a big proponent of being insurance poor. We need to live. You need to pay your bills. Okay? That said, on the internet now, everywhere you go, radio station, TV, internet, you can see a ton of ads about life insurance easy. It's quick as a snap. And lots of companies advertise this. This video is about that, about what's in the advertisements and what isn't. Things you need to be careful of. Hope you enjoy. Be sure to leave your questions, comments, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks. But today's real last thing about financial planning matters is, I saw this on Facebook. And you can see these on Facebook a lot. You can see them, you can hear on the radio. You can see them on TV. Life insurance in a snap, it's easy. Just call this 1-800 number. Life insurance in a snap for pennies a day, up to $500,000. We have a skeptical society. How's that for a tongue twister? Skeptical society. If I said that, I can't even say it once correctly, much less 5 times fast, right? If you think about it, the question is whether you can believe these ads. So you can see my response here. The answer is both yes and no. And you need to be careful, and you should not be surprised if you've made it to this point of the video. Yes and no, depends, you need to be careful. That's pretty much my answer to most things. The ads themselves are not going to be wrong. They're not, right? Pennies a day. $500,000 for X dollars a year or Y dollars a month. Those are going to be true. You'll see the small print on your screen on a TV commercial. What does it mean? Non-tobacco, X numbers of years, perfect height and weight, no pre-existing conditions. Okay. If all of those are true, then yes, what those advertisements saying is absolutely true. Here's your secret. It's also not a big secret. If you called me up directly, you send me an email, I can get you the same price. No particular carrier is going to have a different price than another one of these advertisements. How do I know this? I can find an exact tie, down to the penny. You're a 35-year-old female in perfect height, perfect weight, no tobacco, no pre-existing condition. It's a tie to the penny. And we can find multiple carriers within $1 a month, literally. And I'm not exaggerating. So the idea that you're looking at one of these ads and it's like, ooh, they've got some secret that no one else had. That's not true. That would be like me going to 7-Eleven and saying, okay, my 7-Eleven has a different price on Wrigley Spearmint gum that no place could possibly have. And it only has, even though there's a Walmart and a Costco directly across the street. Not happening. To that degree, life insurance of the term policies that they're advertising on TV, it's that competitive. It's that competitive. So this is a problem with financial stuff. The financial advertising industry, if you will, the whole thing, the other types of financial advice you receive. And I'm sorry that this is the way it works. I'm sorry this is the way the world works, but I'm here to tell you this is the way. Which is, this is me, this is the industry and people trying to tell you it looks like it's a specialty, it's something rare and special that they and they alone have, when it's not. It just isn't. And I hope you kind of get that. You can watch my other videos. I'm never saying I'm the only guy who has this information. You won't catch me saying that because I don't believe it. Right? I'm not the only guy who could have figured this out. I'm not the only person who could have given you this message. I'm certainly not the only person who could have made this on a YouTube video. And as I've told you, I got this face for radio. I got this Midwest tone. I can't even complete a sentence without mumbling or, I don't know, marbles flying out of my mouth. I got no talent for any of that. But what ends up happening is someone tries to market a skill or a product as if it's the greatest thing since sliced bread or some rare specific find. Guess what? The world is hyper competitive. Hyper competitive. I can't understate that to you. Because just like I can find another me somewhere, just like I could find another person, another seller of insurance, another seller of mutual funds, guess what? There's the equally smart, capable competitor who's selling an almost exact lookalike. Guess what? If they look and feel exactly the same and they behave exactly the same, guess what the price is? Exactly the same. Okay. So I've swerved. And this is what I don't like about these sites. They're trying to tell you this is some specialty thing that they and they alone have. Nope. Now, that's not necessarily negative, right? This happens in every business. This happens in every business. Oh, only these shoes can make you run faster, jump higher. Okay, right? Not that your DNA or, all the hard work you've put in has anything to do with it, but it's the shoes. Got to be the shoes. So this happens in every business. But here's the real catch to these advertisements about life insurance, term life insurance, which is that if you're not Miss Perfect, 35 years old, exact ideal height and weight, no pre-existing conditions, if you vary at all, number one, the price amongst this competitive market, it starts to widen from carrier to carrier. It's no longer a price tag that I just mentioned. It stops being a price tag. What's another one? If you get older, right? They're not telling you about a 55-year-old. They're not telling you about a 60-year-old looking for 20-year term, which is possible to locate. They're not advertising that. Why? Because it's not pennies a day. And it's not a tie. Now it starts to vary. So anytime that some moving part starts to move from their specific commercials, the price variance starts to increase. Very important. The real punchline is the following, which is that when you vary away from Miss Perfect 35-year-old, and don't get me wrong, it could be Mr. Perfect 35-year-old. This has nothing to do with, your sex. But the point is that as soon as any variable moves, the issue is that if you get rejected for any reason, that the information is shared amongst all of the other sellers. So I couldn't buy Wrigley's gum from Walmart. Guess what? Costco knows. Sam's Club knows. Myers knows. Kroger's knows. And they all then have record that you tried to apply and were rejected. The problem with that is you can't erase that mark easily. You cannot. They're trying to prevent insurance fraud. There's a reason for having these rules. The issue with doing that, right, is that what ends up happening, you call 1-800, insurance for free.com or whatever the number is that you see on your screen. You call. You're not Mr. or Miss Perfect. You get rejected. That black mark stays with you. So this is why you need to be cautious, and this is why the point of this, the longest clip of today's video is this, because it's another example of the fact that a single detail is just off, just one. Then what can happen is it throws off the result and creates a ripple effect that you did not intend. And without, pointing fingers, You can know this at your auto insurance company. You can go to your big auto insurance company who just happens to say, we also sell life insurance policies. Well, here's your thing is many times the auto insurance company for your case, let's say you want to buy $100,000 of term life insurance. The thing is frequently that company has the harder underwriting standard. And what that means is that let's say you wanted to apply for term life insurance or any health insurance or, for example, universal life. What ends up happening is that the sellers can ask you different questions. They can make their own decisions. They're not all the same. And they're not going to tell you in advance. They're not going to tell you, oh, you get accepted easier at my company than the other company. And so now you've applied to a company that has a very difficult underwriting standard and you had one detail off because of some event that happened 2 years ago. It not only puts a black mark next to your name at that carrier, but all the other carriers, including the easier graders, will also know. Last thing, which is that it's not well known, it's not frequently or commonly known that the lower price of term life insurance, yes, it's lower price. It's also this testing, this underwriting, it's harder under term than it is for whole life or universal life. Because there's a drop dead, there's a date, there's a specific date right under term insurance. And for those who do not know what term insurance is, let's just call it the expiry date, August 15th, 2030. So if you pass away on August 14th, 2030, your beneficiary gets the benefit. If you pass away on August 17th, nobody gets anything. In the same way, the insurance company, they're on the hook. They have to pay if you passed away on August 14th, 2030. They don't have to pay if you pass away on August 17th, 2030. So you can see there's this one day, and literally the outcome for not only you, but also for the payer, the insurance company, dramatically changes just off a single day. That's a far riskier situation for both you and for the carrier. So the carriers are asking the questions actually more carefully under term insurance. It's just another example. Please be careful when you're doing this. Now, full disclosure, do we traverse in this stuff? And the reality is the answer is yes. You're Miss Perfect, 35 years old. I'm going to tie. I'm not going to win. I'm going to just tie. Right? That's true. You're not paying me for that. What you're paying me for is to make sure we've not missed something else. That's the point. Because I'm also telling you that, look, my end product is no better than the other than 1-800-insurance.com or insuranceforfree.com. It's not going to be better. It's going to be a tie. But what I'm here to do is to prevent you from these other outcomes which can be negative. That is where the value is. Okay, let's stop here. Be sure, please, subscribe to the channel if you've liked this video. Leave your comments, ask your questions. More than happy to answer. I'm Jay. This is the Maximize Your Medicare Weekly. Speak with you next week. Thanks for watching.